It's like you want to like you guys do the same thing. You guys want to sit all the way back and then talk.
It's not comfortable being like this. Is this better?
Maybe you got to come over a little bit. Ah. Did you grind it out today? Did you? And today's gonna be a doozy of a topic.
No, it's not.
Tango the Joneses, episode number 40. I am Rashad.
I am Keisha.
Wow, that's a very aggressive I am Keisha today. I want to apologize for Keisha's behavior off the top. It's gonna be very un-Keisha like and semi-ratchet, but we're here.
I get it from him.
We're gonna be talking about that movie, Malcolm and Marie. Spoilers ahead, so if you haven't watched it and you wanna you wanna talk about it, I mean you wanna see it, come back, comment below, and all that good stuff.
It's about an hour and a half.
Before we even get started on anything, like, share, subscribe, man. Join. We steadily getting the numbers up. Again, we thank you. Make sure that you subscribe on YouTube, and if you follow us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever podcasts, 5 stars there too. All right. So anyway, how did you like the movie?
I like it for several things, and some things, like I said, it could be changed. I like the black and white. I love movies in black and white. I've always watched movies in black and white since I was a child. I love the dynamic of relationship. Even though if you need an example of a toxic relationship, they provided one excellent. That's an excellent example of a toxic relationship and poor communication. And I know when Rashad and I was talking, one thing he was saying, he was like, how long this argument's going to go on? Like, it's been a whole day. And I'm talking like seeing people in counseling, I have heard, but sometimes the argument went on for weeks. So this is because he kind of felt like real people don't act like this. I'm like, oh no, these are the people I see, and this is a good example of how some people can act when it comes to communication. One thing about the line made it clear, and we talked about this before, that whole purpose of arguing was to hurt each other. Like they was arguing to get their point heard, and to he said to hurt each other. So taking stuff that happened years ago, weeks ago, whatever, and just bringing it up now, because like that argument they had like 6 pauses. It's like they argue, everything cool, they being intimate, and they was like, you know what? I thought about it. It was like, dang, I still arguing. And each time the argument, even though it was kind of like the same situation, but it was different bits and pieces that's brought into it. So I thought that was a good example of how not to communicate. I didn't like that the end had no resolution. I don't like movies that don't have resolution. So at the end, I was like, okay, what happened? It was kind of left undone. It was graphic language. Some of the language, I was like, ooh, we're going to say the F word that many times. Like, it was being a little bit dramatic. And I think some of it also, what's the other part? When he was talking about when Malcolm was talking about his film and he was angry at the reviews, I literally fast forward and it was still going. I was like, okay, now this part, I thought it was a little bit much. Like that could have been narrowed down a little bit. Now, what's your perception?
My perception of this film was pointless. I mean, I really appreciate the performances with John David Washington, Denzel's baby boy, and Zendaya, who's definitely stepped out of that that Disney shadow. Even though she still works for Disney, they're giving her the latitude to actually be an adult and be an actress, which I can appreciate. I know she does as well, but the actual film, the screenplay, the dialogue, what they had to say and what they were trying to say, it was very clumsy and very clunky for me. One, it's supposed to be a commentary on black directors or blackness in Hollywood to a certain respects. And the guy who wrote it and directed it, the screenplay, is a white guy.
Yeah.
So automatically, it's like, is losing points for me because
I'm with you.
You're trying to explain this version of the Black experience through your lens, which you cannot do.
I agree with you.
Even though it's clear that they ad-lib, they say they ad-lib certain lines to try to, really bring out the characters, because he's creating characters about people which he really knows nothing about. And coming in this aspect was really like, man, like, we wouldn't be acting like this. We wouldn't even be talking like this.
And see, that's what I disagree on. I disagree. I'm really not a fan of movies where a white writer dictating how Black people act and say things. I'm not for that, so I agree with you. But for him to say people don't act like that, I see people every day who act just like that and worse.
When I mean act like that, I mean the way in which they acted in the manner that they did.
That's what I'm saying.
And no, I mean, like, in regards to what they were saying and how it played out. Mm-hmm. Because even with your experience and your expertise, that part of society is a very small, narrow part that would even go back and forth like this but for so long and actually have these very varying degrees of passion and then going right back into hate and anger and hurt and the passion. It's like this is basically happened within what like a 3-hour span.
I say it may be a little bit dramatic, but the span is bigger than you think. A lot of people don't discuss it, or some people don't know that that's abnormal to do. But I'm telling you, if you're in the mental health field, please comment below how many clients that you have that kind of demonstrate the same behavior of Malcolm Marie. It's more common than you think.
Still is trash. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't care. I really don't care if people act like this every day. Like, what are you trying to say from this?
Well, I think the line in the movie said, because I was like, okay, we both agree, like, what's the purpose? But I think the line in the movie was exactly what it is for, that why does it have to be a message? Why can't it just be entertainment? And I think that might have been kind of the premise of the whole movie, that it's not a message. It's just entertainment. It's to get this. People on social media are commenting about it. People, they're writing their reviews about Malcolm and Marie. So it's just for the purpose of you watching. It got people talking.
And that's like, and that's the reason why I didn't even want to feed into it, because I didn't want to watch it because I knew what it was. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like the technical aspect of the film, I really respect. Shot well, great shots. Black and white is cool. You know what I'm saying? Trying to evoke a feel and of a certain nostalgia to it, like a throwback to like 50s movies of kind of that nature. And that whole nine, like, I get that. You know what I'm saying? But what the movie was or wasn't trying to say something, it did say something.
Agreed.
You feel what I'm saying? So that's the part that what I just wasn't feeling. And it looks like this what it looks like to me. Mm-hmm. Even in success and great triumph, Black people still don't know how to navigate and move in the world because of whiteness. Even though that may be what he was trying to say, that's what the movie basically said. He was successful, and the fact that he had these glaring insecurities about what what his work was and what his art is like, what is you really trying to say? You know what I'm saying? And top of that, we have basically a broken female and a broken male who are trying to work this thing out, and it was really no working anything out, because like you said, there was no resolution. What did they do at the end? They just looked at the sunrise, and then the movie was over.
Well, even going back, I saw a lot of different messages, even though it might have been simple to entertain. I saw the message of Black person who grew up in not the hood, but feeling like maybe they have to portray hood-like qualities to get there. When we say black card, means to feel like you're a part of a community, to feel black. So I heard that come out in there that, for some reason we associate with being black with trials and tribulation. If you haven't had those same trials and tribulation, that you're not black. So I heard that come out in the movie, and then him going back to kind of prove that he's black by the struggle he had with females. And I was like, I think that was a good, putting out there, but I'm just thinking that's how it is in society. When we hear people say you don't act black,
but I mean,
what are you really saying? Even when you see the kids from the suburbs who have to feel like they hood to fit in, it's like, so I kind of, it's like, okay, I got it. But also the communication, even though it's kind of dramatic, I want people to see how this look like when you're really doing it and participating in it. And Rashard was like, we don't do this. So this is kind of like, I said, yeah, but we don't do it. But this is a thing. Like, people communicate like this. Like, so far, and people come for counseling, and the first thing we're talking about is communication. People have arguments for weeks that looks just like this. And it's really more common than you think. And this is what I was talking about when we even did a section about when you have a disagreement. It's not abnormal, but you can't go for the jugular. In that movie, it was portrayed of how they were both, I want to be right.
Yeah, I just wasn't feeling the fact that even though this person is successful and he's in a relationship, that he's basically still a failure. Like, that's really all I saw. Like, even though he's getting all the status, all this acclaim, even though he didn't shout out his girl, and that's basically was the basis of the whole argument. You know what I'm saying? There's this whole underlying,
and then she wasn't in it.
Yeah, this whole tone of just non-acknowledgement, which gets perpetuated because, black people aren't acknowledged for what we do. We're not acknowledged for our how we do the things we do for society. So like that part of it, like, it's so, for me, it's just such a played out movie trope. Like, I'd be tired of seeing it. Like, come on, like, how many times we got to see us a full mess? Like, how like, why we got to be successful and still a mess? Mm-hmm. It's exhausting. Like, it was exhausting to watch.
Now I could say, after I finished it, I was like, my head hurt. Like, it was a lot. And I understand some people say it actually triggered them, which I do understand all that, because I do think it could be a triggering movie. But I liked it. And maybe because I liked it, because this is what I see and try to treat and help come to resolution. So this kind of like, if I can almost have a movie and say, go look at this. I want you to tell me, does that look like you?
No, you like it because you are entertained by your work. You are. It's okay.
Explain that. Break that down and make me entertained by my work.
The things that you do on a daily basis, you can watch it on TV and be entertained by it.
Well, I don't know if I say it like that, because to me it's just, why to you this is so foreign. To me, this is my everyday.
I don't know. Even the things that I like to do on a daily basis, I don't find them entertaining when somebody else is doing it, for the most part. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't. Like, even when, for example, like when I was in band, shout out Spartan Legion, I like, you would never catch watching Drumline because it's stupid. It's not real. It's not an accurate description.
But you watch band
of what it is.
Like, you watch over and over.
Yeah, I watch actual footage. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Of real band.
So it's still the same. You didn't watch band, but you still watch band movies.
It's not the same. It's not a movie. It's like just videos of actual footage. It's not
videos
the same.
Of footage of bands.
But it's not the same though.
You decide. Is
the same? Who are you talking to? You decide.
You decide. YouTube world. You decide the same.
You say YouTube world?
Yes.
Come on, Grandma.
YouTube world.
Hey, Facebook.
You decide. The media, social. You decide. It's the same thing. He's just trying to classify it in something different, but it's the same.
All right, whatever, yo.
No, but to me, I'm going back and saying I like the movie. It could be triggering if you have like some kind of trauma with domestic violence or any kind of abuse. It could trigger you, but I think is a prime example of how communication could look. And even some of the things it showed, I was like, I remember in the beginning of our relationship, we did some of those things. Don't remember?
Like what?
When she was hiding somewhere and coming looking.
Oh, this being doing stupid petty stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. But still, like even in that, it was I don't know, man. Like I'm at a point where if it ain't looking positive, or it's not about some true positivity for us, if it's not uplifting us, I don't want no parts of it. Because even like a show that you really love is about to come back on, which is Queen Sugar. Like, again, another beautifully the cinematography is great. How they edit is great. Like even the dialogue and everything is truly black, because Ava DuVernay's doing it. But they don't never win. You know what I'm saying? And even in that show, the white man is still bringing them down. Like, why do I want to watch this? You know what I'm saying? Like this is nothing uplifting about this. Like, I don't feel it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I agree. Everything about the show is great. Like, if it ain't about us winning, then I ain't trying to watch it. I'm just being honest.
So if they won in that in Malcolm and Marie, if they something where they won, would that make you feel better? Or?
No, because we just getting acknowledged for another negative thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we can't do something where we are wholeheartedly control and involved in the entire process, then it's not worthy enough to be winning something.
I agree. I do not like white people taking our stories and this is Black History Month, and it's like, we're gonna put this out here for black cinema.
Because you saw it when they did this they dropped this on Friday.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So I don't like that.
This movie been finished.
Yeah,
you
that's
know
also like
this like November.
Greenleaf.
Yeah. You was like, I said, Keisha, who wrote this and made this, right?
Yeah, that did make me angry. But I understand that part. I agree on that part. I do not like if this is supposed to be the black dynamic, a black movie. I think it should be exactly that. The black should be from the back to the front. You know, not just the front. And I say they were producers and stuff. I'm sure they let them put their little sense in, but
nah, that man.
I'm sure
that man wrote that screenplay.
Yeah,
he wrote that. So all his unconscious things. Even when I was reading up, like basically a lot of the like media people have issues with him, and he's also had issues in the past with for example, the LA Times writer. They kind of reference in the movie that could actually be a legit writer. You know what I'm saying? That he's referencing kind of on a real meta level. You know what I'm saying? Because basically they're saying that this movie is just Sam Levinson's voice being told about how Hollywood is treating him. So like
these are black people.
Yeah.
But I already said we agree with that I don't agree that should be like, if it's going to be a black story, everybody in there need to be from the black perspective, because I do feel like sometimes when a white person is writing the story, it's extra black. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta be extra hood. Like, the black girl gotta do the neck, and this one she gotta be a drug addict, and he gotta be
the basically
angry black man,
a womanizer. You know what I'm saying? Verbally abusive. Like, it's like it's real. It's so many tropes. You know what I'm saying? It's like these don't just play it out. They're not even like good tropes anymore. Like, fam, like we can be seen in a much more different light. I totally understand. That's what the movie wanted. You feel what I'm saying? Like, even though like and again the other meta line was like, does it have to have a message? Can it just be entertainment? No, it can't just be entertainment. There has to be a message, because you know why? This is a story.
So let me ask you that. So when it comes to black cinema, does it have to have a message, as opposed to white cinema can kind of just put anything out for entertainment?
But even in that, because there's a screenplay, there's a script, there's people who wrote it, there's writers on it, it's always a message. Like, you cannot devoid somebody writing something and there be themes that come up inside of the plot because somebody wrote it. Whether we know if there's some sort of motivation or they have some sort of underlying message that they were trying to get people to see, it doesn't matter, because somebody wrote it. There is a message behind the story. That's just common
So is it the, because what I'm getting is from the interpretation, but anytime it's doing with any kind of black people, that always have to be a message.
I mean, but it always has been a message.
And I think that was the movie trying to explain it. This is not a message.
But it is a message. You know what I'm saying? Like
I understand what you're saying, but I think they keep trying to like instead of putting black people have to be in this box.
No. That man cannot. You cannot.
Like we had to be roots.
You cannot. No, it ain't gotta be the roots. But you cannot divorce the fact that you wrote this, and then people are watching it. Just like somebody going to an art museum and looking at a random picture on the wall, they're gonna extrapolate anything they get from that picture because it's art, and it's gonna be and then what, formulate a message from that art. It could be just splatters of paint, and somebody's gonna say, "Oh, well, this invokes feelings," and yada yada yada. Like, it doesn't matter, regardless. If you have something done through a media, there is going to be a message.
Yeah, but it's different than me. My aim is to have a message instead of your perception being a message. That's like, we could see like certain cartoons like, this is so stupid, like this don't have a message, but it does well in the box office. It's done by all white people,
but it doesn't,
and it does well. But saying that the whole their aim may not be to have a message, but if I drew a flat white painting, to me, I didn't have a message like how I felt that day. But you take the interpretation is this. Doesn't mean I had a message. That was your interpretation of it.
But even that's almost like saying you haven't. I mean, regardless of even if you said it wasn't a message, you saying that there's not a message is still a message. You feel what I'm saying? Because you tell me, oh, there is no message in this. That's still you trying to explain something, even if it's nothingness. And from all the shouting, cursing, carrying on, sex, drinking, smoking, there is a message in that. You can't on a very real meta level say, oh, well, how about we could just make this for entertainment and just have a message behind it, and then not think that there's a message behind it.
Yeah, I'm saying is it was made. I really believe what they said, that this might be just for entertainment and for you to come out with a message. But I think it was just like, let's throw some mess out there and see what sticks.
Nah, I truly think the writer had an agenda like everybody else does, and he wrote it, convinced the person that he's worked with before, in Zendaya, and was able to secure John David Washington and made that movie. You feel what I'm saying? Like, there was something that he was trying to say from the movie, regardless if we are interpreting it right or wrong. There was a message. There is no way that you would start making a movie in like May or June. We were fresh in the quarantine and go through all these measures and links to make it and not have a message. Because you're not just out here just doing that because I really want to make a movie right now. Last year,
I think it's money. I think it's money in this, but anything I can throw out to get money.
I'm just saying, man.
But okay, what do you think about the communication?
I mean, the communication of it was I mean, it was definitely trash, and the fact that they were just trying, like you said before, just trying to hurt each other the whole time was really, it's like I'm like, we've seen this before. Like, we've seen this either in real life, like you said, or this whole kind of like experimental type movie. I've seen Spike Lee do a lot better. I've like I said, I've seen this movie before, and Spike Lee did it better. That's one. And then second, the part that really cemented just how trash this movie was, when at the end, Marie basically had to thank him for being trash. He had to thank him for doing regular stuff. Thank him for just being there. Like, I was like, man, that's bad. That and to think about, like, you have women who will sit there and legitimately thank a man for just doing normal, everyday, humanistic, average, nonsensical stuff that you should be doing anyway.
Yeah, because you used to get a lot of thanks for just being there. Like, I could be doing backflips. I could do everything. It's like, well, you're a mother. He could just be you're such a great father. Like, what? He is. He is a great father. But it's just the fact that that's society, though. You know how many times you got, like, big ups and applauses for being present.
Yeah. So that part of it was like... And it goes back into the trope of, I mean, to be honest, and this is like a really, really old TV trope of the tragic mulatto. I know, like, mulatto is not like a real, like, you know, term that, like, you know, people aren't, you know, it's like kind of taboo now. But that's a movie trope I actually learned in college, where especially like some of the older films, older black and white films, where you have somebody like a Dorothy Dandridge or whoever who was definitely of mixed persuasion. And then they're in the movie and they play this very tragic role. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Of course, it was opposite a white guy, but still, that trope still gets played today. You know what I'm saying? Even like with like, you know, like freaking Halle Berry. You know what I'm saying? She's a mix too, and she always plays some tragic role. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I mean. It was a real throwback type movie. You know what I'm saying? Even this whole argument about Hollywood and how things are, even though they try to modernize it by throwing black people in the mix, but that whole thing, that was an argument even back in the 50s about and they would have commentary about how Hollywood was back then and make a movie about Hollywood back then. So that's what I'm saying. Like, this is not a really like a super new story.
I don't see anything really be done that's new, to be honest with you. But even going with that, but relationship wise, looking at the relationship, I see that relationship, and even like how you say, men being praised, or she's thanking him just for being there, and then even comparing each other to other spouses. That's so unhealthy.
Yeah, not relationships, not even spouses.
Huh? Say it again.
There's relationships, not even spouses.
Oh, okay, well, relationships, that's so unhealthy, and all of it too. One say I'm winning, to prove that I'm a man and I've got this and I wrote this. And say I'm a woman, I got this, I wrote this, and you're not the only one. And then the other one is just I forgot the other one. But that's the main thing, is just and other one to prove that I feel like that black card again. Like, I'm real, I'm down.
Yeah.
Which I want us to change the narrative. If anything I can say in Hollywood, I don't want to have that narrative that only way to be black is to go through something. You know, not every black person has the same struggle. Not every black person has a struggle.
Yeah, it's super played out. Even the fact that he had, I'm not sure if they did it or he did it, but like, even it was using the N-word. I'm like really, like this is so lame, yo. Like, this has to be better.
I like the acting.
Acting was amazing.
He act just like his father. His voice and his cadence, I was like, oh my gosh, you hear Denzel coming out with him, and he doesn't realize it. And I'm sure even this movie was for both of them to bust out of those roles. Like, I don't want to be tied to anything to my father. No, I mean, but I want to be me.
Not really, Johnny Washington.
Because even with Denzel history, I have never seen any movie he had that was anything with him being intimate with a woman or kissing or nothing of that sort. Remember we talked?
Yeah, he had a couple, but it was like he was very guarded about how. I remember he had an interview. He was like, "Yeah, you're never gonna see me totally naked in nowhere, or it's not gonna be like you're not gonna be seeing a whole lot of overtly sexual stuff from him." I remember that early.
Yeah,
but
like his wife might have laid that down. Like, no, you won't. Yeah, but this, I was like, I wonder, part of it is that they was trying to really bust out of those kind of those ideas and people have for them.
I guess. I mean, John David Washington been acting for a few years. I remember he was on Ballers on HBO with The Rock and a couple other people. So I mean, he was definitely there. Even the black dude from the Unicorn, or the husband, the kind of heavy dude.
Yeah.
He was in it too. He pretty much was like not his dad, and he wouldn't even say that his dad was Denzel Washington prior. So he was definitely,
that's just from one point. Yeah.
And then he did Tenet, which I need to watch. And he's been on the come up.
So basically trying to create his own track and
trying to create his own lane.
Don't want his father to get anything out of his father image.
Yeah. That's all I got. You made me upset again. But yeah, so that's episode 40. Talking about the stupid movie.
Let's see part 2 come out.
Nah.
I'm there for it.
Yeah, I won't. You be reviewing by yourself.
That's okay.
All by yourself.
I can do it.
Good. You have the floor.
Yeah, I can do it.
All right, man. Hang with the Joneses, episode 40. Ended up being a review too. But yeah, we'll get back to our normal stuff next week. Basically, this still goes in line with how a relationship works. This was basically how a relationship doesn't work. And this should not be your example of a healthy relationship. We're going to be back on that next week talking about, what are we going to be talking about? I forgot. But we're going to talk about something. Still going on the same lines of with how a relationship works in regards to negotiating and, all that good stuff.
Using negotiation and compromising.
Yeah, negotiate, compromise. Oh, yeah. I'm talking about non-negotiables. Because there are some terms, there's some things that, you just like, it's a firm no. And if this ain't it, then I can't do it. So we're going to talk about non-negotiables next week. Like, share, subscribe. Tag. I'm done. Yeah, man.
That was my Marie on him.
I hope you guys have a great week. WandaVision reviews out now. It'll be out next Friday too. Make sure you check that out. Kids Got Something to Say. They have an episode Q&A, sibling Q&A. So that was very interesting. Very interesting sibling Q&A that Des and Natty did. And check us out during the week, man. We drop stuff all the time. So I'm done. Rashad.
Keisha.